You think you know what ambition looks like. You think you've seen a club hungry for success. Forget everything you've seen before, because what just came out of the racecourse ground isn't just a statement, it is a warning shot to the rest of the football world. We are sitting here right at the turn of the year, and the noise coming out of the boardroom is deafening. Wrexham CEO Michael Williamson hasn't just reflected on the past, he has just laid down the gauntlet for 2026. And let me tell you, if you thought the ride was over, if you thought consolidation was the name of the game, you are dead wrong. We are ambitious, driven, and ready to make 2026 even bigger. That is the quote. That is the headline. Even bigger. Let that sink in for a second. We have just witnessed one of the most insane trajectories in British football history, and the man at the top is looking at the calendar and saying, "We are just getting started." It's absolute madness. It's the kind of talk that usually comes back to bite you. But with Wrexham, with these red dragons, you'd be a fool to bet against them. But what does bigger actually mean when you're already punching holes through the ceiling? Let's strip this back, because to understand where we are going in 2026, we have to look at the absolute carnage, the glorious, beautiful carnage that was 2025. We need to talk about April. Williamson calls it the standout moment, and honestly, that is the understatement of the century. April 2025, the day the Red Dragons secured a third consecutive promotion. 3 in a row. Do you realise how rare that is? Williamson himself said it in his programme notes. We always believed back-to-back promotions were possible, but let's be honest, it's rare for a reason. He's right, it's virtually impossible. The physical toll, the mental fatigue, the jump in quality from the National League to League 2, then to League 1, and finally smashing the door down to the Championship. It destroys clubs, it bankrupts teams, it breaks managers. But not this lot, not Phil Parkinson. The CEO highlighted that specific day against Charlton Athletic, the atmosphere at the Stock Kaya Haas, the way the news filtered through from the other matches. Picture it again, Leyton Orient beating Wycombe, the roar from the turf. Williamson described it perfectly. The cheers from the turf and beyond set the stage perfectly. This isn't just corporate speak, this is a CEO who actually felt the vibrations in the floorboards. He talks about the electric atmosphere from start to finish. That's the DNA of this club. It wasn't just a win, it was a coronation, a return to the second tier for the first time since the 1981-82 campaign. Think about that gap, over 40 years of hurt, of near misses, of almost losing the club entirely. And then, in a blink of an eye, 3 seasons of pure, unadulterated acceleration. Williamson admits it took hard work, dedication and unwavering support. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But we know the truth. We know the grit required to get out of the National League, let alone surge straight through League 1 without touching the sides. And yet, here we are. The CEO says that day was pure pride for everyone connected to this club. But pride is a dangerous thing if you dwell on it too long. In football, if you stand still to admire the view, you get run over. Which brings us to right now.
So the confetti has been swept away. The documentary cameras have captured the glory. What is the reality of the 2025-2026 season so far? Williamson didn't hide from the facts. He admitted it. A slow start. And let's be fair, it was nervy. The Championship is a beast. It's arguably the toughest, most physically demanding league in the world. You have former Premier League giants, parachute payments, squads worth hundreds of millions. And then you have Wrexham, riding on momentum and passion. But look at the table now. Look where we are finishing 2025. 11th place. Some people might look at that and say, oh, mid-table. Are you joking? Are you having a laugh? 11th place for a newly promoted side that was playing non-league football 3 years ago is not just good, it is miraculous. It is a statement of intent. It proves that the slow start was just the team catching its breath before landing punches. Williamson notes that Phil Parkinson's men have been more than competitive. That's the key phrase. We aren't passengers. We aren't just happy to be here, scrapping for a point at home. We are taking games to established championship sides. And this is where the CEO's comments get really interesting. He's not panicking about being 11th, he sees it as the platform. He sees it as the foundation. Most clubs in this position would be talking about consolidation. They'd be saying, let's just stay up, let's reach 50 points. Not Wrexham, not Williamson. He's looking at 11th place and saying, right, we've steadied the ship, now how do we strap a rocket to it for 2026?
Now, here is the part that usually bores people. But if you are a proper supporter, this is the stuff that gets your blood pumping. Because this is how dynasties are built. You can throw money at strikers all day long, you can sign big names, but if your house is built on sand, it collapses. Williamson dropped the statistic that frankly made my jaw drop. Our team behind the scenes has tripled to nearly 140 staff. 140? That is not a League One structure. That is not even a standard championship structure. That is a club gearing up for the Premier League. That is an army of analysts, physios, commercial staff, operational experts. He said it clearly, we are building the infrastructure to match our ambitions on the pitch. This is the hidden master plan. While everyone is obsessing over the transfer window or the starting 11, Williamson and the board have been quietly tripling the workforce. Why? Because you cannot run a global brand, a community pillar, and a high-performance sports team with a skeleton crew. And it's not just people, it's concrete and mortar. The CEO rattled off the list of projects, and it is relentless. First, the purchase of the Rock, giving the women's team and the youth sides a proper home. This isn't a token gesture, this is about integrating the entire club. The women's team isn't a side project, it's a core part of the Red Dragons' identity now. Then, the upgrade to the academy facilities at Darland. This is massive. If Wrexham wants to survive at this level and push higher, we cannot just keep buying players. We need to produce them. We need the next generation of Welsh talent coming through the ranks, knowing what it means to wear the shirt. That only happens if you have the facilities to train them. And of course, the big one, the one we've all been waiting for, the Kop stand. Williamson confirmed work is underway on the iconic Kop stand at the Stoc Cae Ras. This is more than just extra seats. This is about restoring the soul of the stadium. It's about that wall of noise. It's about intimidating the opposition before they even step off the bus. When that stand is full, bouncing with the floodlights on, there won't be a stadium in the country that can match the intensity. This is what Williamson means by progression off the pitch. It's easy to ignore it when the team is winning, but when you hit a rough patch, that infrastructure is what catches you. So, we come back to the hook. The promise. We are ambitious, driven, and ready to make 2026 even bigger. What does he know that we don't? He's writing these notes in the programme for the Preston North End game. A 2-1 win, by the way, just to keep the vibes immaculate. He's looking at a team sitting 11th, a club with a new stand rising, a tripled workforce, and he's saying this is just the warm-up. Does bigger mean a push for the playoffs in the second half of the season? With the league being as tight as it is, a run of 3 or 4 wins propels you from 11th right into the mix. Is that the target? Or does bigger mean the global expansion? We are proud to share our success with the world, he said. But he immediately followed it with the most important line of the entire statement. But it starts right here. We are a club with our community at its heart and anchored in our hometown roots. This is why Wrexham works. This is why this isn't just a Hollywood experiment gone right. Williamson gets it. He understands that you can have all the Netflix cameras you want, you can have the sponsors, you can have the TikTok followers, but if you lose the people of Wrexham, if you lose the regulars at the turf, you have nothing. He is reaffirming that vow. The growth, the ambition, the bigger 2026, it all serves the town. It's a balancing act that would make most CEOs dizzy, growing a global brand while keeping the local soul intact. But looking at the last 12 months, looking at the joy of that promotion against Charlton, looking at the resilience to bounce back from a slow start in the Championship, you have to say they are nailing it.
We have to give credit where it is due. Williamson talks about the progression on the pitch. That is Phil Parkinson. To take a team through 3 divisions is unheard of in modern football. Usually you change the manager. You say, thanks for getting us here, but you're not a Championship manager. Wrexham didn't do that. They stuck with a gaffer, and 11th place is his vindication. He has adapted. He has made this team more than competitive. He has taken players who were in the National League and coached them into Championship warriors. When Williamson talks about 2026 being bigger, he is putting a huge amount of faith in Parkinson to take that next step, to turn a mid-table finish into a promotion push, to turn a stable squad into a giant killer. So here is the situation. We are closing the book on 2025, a year that will go down in history. The year of the treble promotion. The year the Red Dragons returned to the second tier after 4 decades of exile. But the message from the very top is clear. Don't get comfortable. Michael Williamson isn't patting himself on the back. He isn't putting his feet up. He is tripling the staff. He is building the stands. He is upgrading the academy. He is buying facilities for the women's team. He is loading the cannon. Growth hasn't slowed down. That's what he said. If you are a Wrexham fan, this is the stuff dreams are made of. Not just because of the wins, but because the club is being built to last. And if you are an opponent, if you are looking at Wrexham sitting in 11th and thinking, that's their ceiling, they'll fade away now, think again. The CEO just confirmed it. The ambition is to make 2026 even bigger. And if the last 3 years have taught us anything, it's that when Wrexham says they are going to do something, they usually do it. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a Red Dragon. Strap yourselves in, 2026 is going to be a bumpy, chaotic, magnificent ride. And I wouldn't miss it for the world. That's the reality. That's the confirmed plan. No rumours, no clickbait, just a CEO telling us straight. We are going for it. What do you make of Williamson's comments? Is 11th place a success, or should we be pushing harder? And what does bigger mean to you? Let me know. Get in the comments. Let's argue about it. I'm Rodrigo, this is The Project, and the Red Dragons are flying.